Welcome back to Weeby Kids again. With the return of autumn, we've had many cold nights this week, and we've been getting our fire going at home, and it reminded me of a story about a bird that is one of our favourites and that we see throughout the year here in the UK. So this story is called How the Robin Got His Red Breast. And this story, like many of the stories you hear, happened a long time ago. So long ago that when this oak tree, this giant oak tree that is behind me, it was just a tiny little acorn. And this story happened on one very cold winter's night. Possibly the coldest night that had ever been known to any of the birds. They'd all huddled together in the branches of an oak tree to try and keep warm, but it just wasn't working. They were sure to perish in the night if something wasn't done. When the wise old owl said to all the other birds, "I have heard that deep in the far south there is something called fire. If we go there and get fire and bring it back, it will surely warm us and it will save us." And all the birds said, "What is this thing, this fire that you talk about?" And the owl said, "It can be found by entering the earth through a mountain, a volcano. But only the strongest of the birds can go." And there was a bit of chippering and chattering amongst the birds, and then the eagle flapped his wings and said, "I am the strongest of all the birds. You know that. I am the greatest flyer. I should be the one that goes to bring fire to save all of our kind." And all the birds agreed. And the eagle lifted his wings and set off flying. And he flew for days and days until he came to the far south. And there, when he got to the far south, he saw this volcano that the owl had spoken about. It had smoke coming out of the top and molten lava spewing from it. He knew that to get fire, he had to go inside and bring fire back to the birds. So he flew up as high as he could, and then he dived down straight into the mouth of the volcano. And as he went deeper and deeper into the volcano, it got hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter. But he kept going, and he went deeper and deeper and deeper, and it got hotter and hotter to the point where he was almost there. Fire was in reach. He opened his beak to grab fire, but the heat was so intense that it burned the feathers from the top of its head. The eagle turned and flew out of the volcano and headed all the way back to the birds. And when he arrived, the birds said, "Eagle, what happened? Did you bring us fire?" And Eagle said, "No, the heat was too intense. I got far into the volcano, but it was too much, and the feathers on my head caught fire." "Oh," said the other birds, "that is why your head is bald." "Yes," said the eagle, "that is why my head is bald." And the bird said, "Then from now on we will call you the bald eagle, as a reminder of your courage to go and bring fire." And all the birds agreed. But still there was no fire, and still it was cold. So they asked all the other birds again, who might be able to go and bring fire back. And this time, the raven hopped forward. Now, when you see a raven, you know that it is pitch black. But at the time of this story, ravens were pure white. And the raven said, "I am the cleverest of all the birds. It should be me that goes, for I will know how to get the fire from the volcano." So the birds agreed, and the raven flew off. And the raven arrived in the deep south, and when he got there, he knew straight away where to get the fire from. you see coming out of the volcano was a huge plume of black smoke. He flew up, and just like the eagle, he dived down into the centre of the volcano, trying to get to the depth to get the fire. He went deeper and deeper, but as he did, the smoke got thicker and thicker. But still, he continued to dive down and down. But the smoke became so thick that he could no longer breathe. He turned and shot back out of the volcano and back to the birds in the forest. And when he got there, the birds said, "Raven, what has happened to you? Look!" And the raven looked, and all of his feathers had changed from pure white to jet black. The raven told the birds what had happened and the bad news that he didn't bring back any fire. But from that day, all the ravens have been black as a reminder of the raven's courage. But still they didn't have any fire. So they looked around again. They said, "Who can go? We need to get the fire to survive." And a little brown bird came hopping out with beady black eyes and a little pointed beak. He said, "I will go and bring back fire. I may not be the cleverest or the best flyer, but I have the biggest heart. I can go and I can bring fire and I can save all of the birds." And the owl said, "But Robin, you are just a small bird. You may never return." The robin said, "Well, I am willing to take that risk to save all of you." And with that, he flew up into the air and was gone. And he flew until he got to the volcano. When the robin arrived at the volcano, it was spitting molten lava out of the top. And the robin flew around and watched. He knew from the story of the buzzard and the raven that he couldn't dive into the volcano. So he had to be clever. And he watched as the molten lava came out. And as it landed, he saw that it was hot on the floor. He knew that if he could just carry one of those hot rocks back, he had a chance of making fire. So he waited until one was spat out of the volcano. He flew over and he picked it up in his beak and he tucked it into his breast. And then as fast as he could, he began to fly back. And he flapped and flapped and flapped. But as he was flapping, he was fanning the hot rock that was inside his breast. And without realising, he began to make fire. He flapped and flapped and flapped, and the hot rock glowed and glowed and glowed. He flapped and flapped and flapped, and the rock became hotter and hotter and hotter. And when he was almost back, he came into land. And as he came into land, he flapped his wings. And as he did that, his breast ignited. There was fire. All the birds cheered, "Hooray!" The robin threw the hot rock down into a pile of sticks that had been laid. And he batted his chest to put out the fire. But when he removed his wings and looked down, his breast had turned bright orange. And from that day on, every robin that has come out of an egg has been born with a bright orange breast, as a way of reminding us that even though the robin isn't the greatest flyer or the most intelligent bird, he is certainly one of the bravest. So next time when you see the little robin redbreast come hopping into your garden, just remember that story. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you again soon at Weeby Kids. Bye!